Hey there, and welcome back to this random ass Soul Level 1 playthrough of Dark Souls 3. Last time we killed Osiros, the Consumed King, and we also got murdered by Champion Gundyr, so that was quite the fun time. Today I'm going to start off by using Champion Gundyr's soul to get myself the Prisoner's Chain Ring, which gives you extra vigor, endurance, and vitality, so that's always nice. Now I'm going to fumble with my control a bit because I completely forgot how to play the game for a second. And eventually, after way too long, I'm going to finally manage to equip the ring properly. Take your time, there you go. So now I'm going to go ahead and equip the Grass Crest Shield so I can be prepared for the next stage. And I'm also going to go ahead and see the Firekeeper, and I'm going to give her the eyes. So after talking to her for way too long, I'm going to go ahead and stand back a little before giving her a bow. So there you go. And now it's time to get the job done, so to speak. Yeah, there we go. So there you go, I have regained the eyes, and I have also killed the Firekeeper, so I'm going to sit at the bonfire, and I'm going to warp back to Irithyll Dungeon, because that's where our next destination is, believe it or not. So eventually, after getting lost for a bit, I'm going to find my way back and take the elevator, and I'm going to come over here to this carpet. And after messing around with my gestures to try and figure out which one I want to remove, I'm going to equip the Path of the Dragon, and I'm going to sit down. And now we wait. So eventually, after waiting long enough, you're gonna get a cutscene, and afterwards you're going to be magically transported to Archdragon Peak, so I don't understand how that works exactly, but it doesn't matter, so pick up these souls right at the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a fight with all of these guys, and they're just going to start coming over and trying to whack me all over the place, and it was not a fun time, believe it or not. So after some time I eventually got chomped, and I started whacking this guy away, but he managed to dodge, and then I got comboed to death, so that's what this is going to look like apparently. So coming back, I come over here and pick up my souls, and because there's too many of those guys here, I decide that instead of taking my revengeance, I'm just going to go ahead and rush straight to the bonfire, so that at least if I die, I can respawn over here, so that's always a good idea. And eventually, after lighting the bonfire, they're all going to come for me, so I'm going to start slaughtering them all. So after healing, I'm going to pick up this ember over here, and I'm going to head over there where I'm going to kill the remaining guys, and afterwards it's time to pick up this item over here, which is actually a Titanite chunk, so yeah, that's cool. There's actually a whole ton of these things over here, so there's 3 right off the bat. Well, actually that was 4, but oh well. Anyway, crank the lever to open the door, and now it's time to go ahead and see what lies beyond. If you know, you know. Well, now it's time for the Ancient Wyvern, and this boss is not really a boss. It's pretty much just a gauntlet of enemies and shit, and you just run through it until you reach the end where you can't attack the Wyvern, so that's what I was doing until I suddenly got wombo comboed into oblivion. Alright, so attempt number 2. On the way I picked up these souls over there, and now it's time to try again, and hopefully we won't die this time. Actually, no, we will not die this time, I know, because I remember, so yeah, here's the successful attempt, and you'll be able to see I don't really bother with anything, though I did get slapped or something by the Wyvern right there. So here we go, and it's time to run the gauntlet again, and I'm just going to pretend the enemies don't exist, because you know what? They're annoying and I don't like them, so I'm just going to run straight through and roll a couple of times to avoid getting hit, and I'm just going to go up all the way until I reach the end, so I got sniped in the foot there, so it was kind of funny. So up the stairs and past the shield wielding guy, and also dodge the ambush spawn over here. I'm going to pick up my souls on the way because they just so happen to be there, so I'm going to dodge the fireball, and I'm going to get hit by this one, though thankfully the axe and chain guy wasn't there to snipe me this time around, so after nearly dying once again, I'm going to heal, and I'm going to just book it straight to the ladder, so the axe guy is going to yeet that thing ahead of me, but he's going to miss, so That's cool, and I'm just going to climb up the ladder and I'm going to wait here because it's a safe spot. So after this I'm just going to be on my merry way to finish the fight, but before I do so I'm going to drop down here and climb this ladder over there because there's an item at the end of it. It's nothing important for me, but well, I see shiny and I have to go ahead and get it, so make sure you get stuck on the wall first and come over here to pick up these Twinkling Titanites. So they're cool if you could use it, but I can't, so whatever. So after waiting for the wyvern to calm down and stop breathing fire all over the place, I'm just going to run off and plunge my sword straight in his skull, and that's going to be the end of the boss fight. So, like I said, it's not really a boss, you just run a gauntlet of enemies and obstacles and whatnot until you kill the giant wyvern with a single hit. So I'm going to try to make the dragon head stone disappear, but I'm going to fail because I'm thinking this is Elden Ring, so whatever. Anyway, I'm going to get teleported to the rest of the stage, so we can move on now. So we'll light the bonfire that's right here. Before I actually move on though, I'm going to warp back to the first bonfire because I want to scavenge the wyvern's arena for everything I can find. So there's a soul over there, and now down these stairs is 2 embers as well as some stock dung pies, so that's kind of cool. Some more souls over here, and after killing this guy you can pick up this titanite chunk over here. Yeah, there we go. Also, these guys drop large titanite shards pretty much all the time, so if you're running low, you can come and find them over here, so that's cool. Anyway, time to move on now, so there's this NPC that gets summoned, so I'm just going to go ahead and start off with the dishonorable backstab before killing him. Also, throw this guy off the cliff, pick up his titanite shield that he's guarding, and also pick up the other titanite shield that he's guarding over here. So in this room where there's these 2 guys, you can pick up another titanite shield and then move on to pick up the souls, and also pick up the dragon slayer spear through the door, because it's funny. So moving on now, make sure you get spooked by this knife guy while you're fighting the big axe guy, so that's always fun, and now start scrambling for your life as you try to heal and avoid dying at the hands of this wombo combo of dudes, and eventually you're going to manage to kill them, and this is where I found out that these guys can actually give you titanite chunks occasionally, so you can farm those over here if you want. So kill the titanite bug for 3 twinkling titanites, which again I don't care about, and pick up the 3 titanite skills in this chest. So pick up the souls and roll inside to make sure you don't get burned to a crisp by the dragon that flies overhead, and after a quick check to see if there was anything interesting, which there wasn't, I went ahead and moved on to this room over here. So in this room, this half-naked guy gets summoned by this serpent lady over here, so I'm going to go ahead and kill her because she's annoying, and then I went to pick a fight with this guy, and it was going fairly well until he got me with his weapon art, and that was the end of that. So I made my way back and I killed the dude because, well, I wanted my vengeance of course, and now we're moving on and we're going to light the final bonfire. Also, I got grabbed here and I didn't actually know this was an attack that existed, so I learned another thing today. So pick up these souls over here because they're fun, and also kick this dragon down the cliff because that's what he deserves. And after killing this other dragon over here, you can pick up the Dragon Chaser's Ashes, which lets you buy Titanite Scale as well as Twinkling Titanite. Also, I came to Havel where I picked up the Titanite Slab and I also got slammed into the ground. Now it's time to head for the boss, so make sure you pull the lever first and foremost to trigger the cutscene, and now there you go. It starts raining and you have access to the boss fight, so it's time to fight the King of Storms and the Nameless King, and go ahead and take a guess as to how this is going to turn out. So if you guessed I was going to die a whole bunch of times, well, congratulations, you guessed correctly. So as always, enjoy this montage of me getting my ass kicked until we reach the successful attempt. So attempt number 12 now, and before I head in I'm going to switch out the Chloranthy ring for the Pontiff's right eye so I can get more damage, because I figured this would probably be the most ideal strategy to kill him before he kills me. So there we go, we're starting in now for the successful attempt this time. So as always, I'm starting out by eating some grass in order to improve my stamina regen, and also some gold pine resin to get extra lightning damage, because the King of the Storms is weak to lightning. And I also start out by two-handing my sword, because during all my attempts it seemed that two-handing my sword was a lot more consistent when it came to landing hits against the King of the Storm, so it makes things easier if you go ahead and do that, at least for me it does. So keeping a lock on the boss is usually helpful in order to see where he's heading or where he is, but occasionally locking off can help you maneuver the camera a little bit better, and that can make things easier sometimes. So eventually you're going to probably get an opportunity for a crit, so you can go ahead and stab him in the eye, and then he falls down, allowing you to get a couple more hits in. So I'm going to miss the second hit, and eventually he's going to try to stab me, and I'm just going to maneuver around it, except, oh wait, I actually got thundered over there, but it doesn't matter, so I'm going to try and miss again, and now I'm going to actually go and finish it off here, so now it's time for second phase. So during the start of second phase, I'm going to go ahead and eat another bunch of grass, as well as use some human pine resin to apply some dark damage to my sword, because that seems to be the most effective element for getting some bonus damage. And I'm also going to revert back to one-handing my sword, because that allows me to attack a little bit faster, which is very helpful during this phase. So it's kind of hard to actually recommend this strategy for this boss, because, well, there's no really easy way of cheesing him. You just kind of have to get accustomed to dodging all of his attacks. So I think the best thing I can recommend is to just try to get into a clean rhythm where you can figure out exactly how many attacks you can put in between his attacks, so that you have just a consistent rhythm of attacks and dodges to make things easy on yourself. Also, if you are able to score a knockdown, that generally helps, so you can go ahead and land a crit for some juicy damage. So just keep on whacking him, and also the Pontiff's right eye certainly helps to get a little more damage and make things go by a little faster. So I'm just going to keep on slapping him. I don't have any dark element on my sword anymore, but oh well. I got hit there, but he didn't follow up with anything, so everything was fine in the end. And 3 more hits over here, I think. Well, 2 more, and then I'm going to start dodging in order to play it safe. And 2 more hits here, and that's going to be the end of him, so I'm going to give him the respectful bow, because that was a pain in the ass. So there you go, the Nameless King is dead, and after a little bit we're going to get a cutscene, which I'm going to skip as always, and we're going to be taken back to Archdragon Peak before it was raining all over the place. So I'm going to start off by lighting the bonfire, just because I don't want to somehow die miserably. I also pick up December over here, and the Titanite slab on the way, so I now have 2 of those, and I also went and picked up the rest of the things before warping back to Firelink. So before I'm going to end this video, I'm going to go ahead and tie up a little loose ends, I suppose. I'm going to talk to the Fire Maiden just because I killed her, so I can have the explanation as to why she's back to life, but it's not very important, I just figured I would do it. I'm also going to see the Shrine End Maiden so I can give her the Dragon Chaser's ashes, which I don't really need them, but I have them in my inventory, so I might as well get rid of them. And while I'm here, I'm going to buy the 6 embers that she's selling, because I could always use more of those. I'm also going to buy some human pine resin, a grand total of 22 of them, more or less. 24 actually, so I should be set on those things for a while. I'm also going to go ahead and see Andre, of course, in order to reinforce my weapon, so I'm going to start by reinforcing the Dragon Slayer's axe, so I'm going to level it up to +8, but now I'm out of Titanite chunks, so oh well. I'll be able to come back after I finish Lothric Castle, because there's a whole bunch of chunks over there. And I'm also going to try to figure out where the other weapon I want to upgrade is, and I'm eventually going to find it right here, the Profane Greatsword. And since it uses Titanite scales, I have more than enough of those, so I can level it all the way up to +5 actually, so there you go. Eventually. There we go. +5 Profane Greatsword, so that's going to be useful at some point, you'll see. And that's just going to be about where I end things for today, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, that's cool. If not, well, sorry, I tried my best. And before I leave you, I'm giving you this sight of me lying down before the Firekeeper, and she giggles.